I'm Bill.
I'm
He's
Ted.
Ted.
I don't know.
We're
What
back from Excellent
adventure?
Adventures. Some guy.
It was pretty funny. I mean, I laughed really hard about it. I mean, you know, Kentucky won the game, and some Kentucky board, calls us Bill and Ted. I mean,
He says we sit on the couch all day and eat Fritos, which is not
not
true,
true.
because we like Doritos better.
Yeah,
than
Doritos, and I just drink Mountain Dew.
And just drink Mountain Dew.
But I thought his post was funny. I mean, it didn't really hurt my feelings. I mean, I'm just kind of wondering why he would come out and just like attack us, and we're talking about how good of a school Kentucky is.
And most people probably don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, but that's
anyway,
whatever. It was funny stuff, and
so if you see it, guy, we know who you are.
Yeah.
But anyway,
whatever.
Everybody knows Kentucky won the game, and Kentucky's not a bad team. I mean, they've got some good players. Randall Cobb's good. Hartline, he's a senior now, so he's he's been around the wagon, so he's got some experience. But I would say the thing that I'll take away most being a Gamecock fan is just the disappointment in the defense. I mean, there was absolutely no defensive adjustments the entire second half. I'm not sure what they were doing on that busted play when they scored that final touchdown. They were just kind of farting around, and I'm not sure what Lorenzo Ward is doing up there in the press box. But obviously the defense. But Kentucky won. I give Kentucky credit. They stayed in the game. They were down 28-10 at halftime and came back and won 31-28. So I give them some credit for not giving up, because they very easily could have.
Yeah, I mean, they could have folded, but you know what? That showed right there. That showed to me that I was right all along about Kentucky, that they are a good football team. A good football team will overcome adversity. And I guess this past week we just showed that we weren't that great of a football team compared to them. I mean, They were the better team that week, and that's really all you can say about it. We jumped out on them in the first half, and we had a lot of mistakes. And guess what? The mistakes really hurt us, because that was points that were off the board, and they wouldn't have had enough time in the second half to rally, but they rallied and they won, and congrats to them. That was a great game they played. They deserve it, and I mean, I don't have no hatred towards Kentucky or their fans. I saw some pretty brutal things on message boards or whatever, Kentucky and Carolina fans arguing. And I mean, I don't really see the point. I mean, yeah, Kentucky won the game. If they want to talk smack, whatever, that's cool. I mean, they won the game. They have the right to do that. But I mean, I just want to congratulate them on the win. I think they played great, and in the second half they played great, and I think that they deserve the win. And I mean, I hate for South Carolina to lose, but it's kind of one of them things where it's like, Kentucky beat us. It's not that it's not something that happens, a lot for those smaller schools. Like,
and that's Steve Spurrier's first time losing to Kentucky ever. So
yeah, so I mean, we have like South Carolina and Kentucky. It's kind of showing to me that we're rising up, to kind of knock off, quote unquote, the big three of the division. So I mean, I like that Kentucky's kind of growing with us. I think we're both growing up into the conference, and I think we're starting to prove that we can play with the big three, and I think that's really awesome.
But I mean, obviously Kentucky won, and but there's definitely some things that worried me about the game. Obviously we talked about the defense. You get out to a 28-10 lead at halftime. Their crowd is totally out of the game. They were probably tired from March Madness the night before that they had, when they had 22,000 people there. But the crowd is totally out of the game. And what are they doing in the locker room at halftime?
Nothing.
I have no clue. I mean, they came out, zero defensive adjustments. And it doesn't matter how big your lead is and who you're playing. You're on a road game in the SEC. Carolina has problems on the road anyway. What are they doing? I mean, you can always find something to adjust to, they absolutely did nothing.
I mean, you could be holding a team to negative yards, and you could still make adjustments, come out and play a better game. We were playing soft. I don't know why. They were just throwing the ball 7 yards downfield, so I don't see why we were playing too soft. I think we should have, maybe jammed a little bit, because, I mean, the people that I thought that were playing pretty hard was the front four. The front four was, I thought,
we got great pressure. We got absolutely wonderful pressure.
But, I mean, I feel like our front four was beating their front five. But when we would blitz, I don't know where the blitz, it was like we were getting the same amount of pressure with the blitz that we were with the front four.
And we would blitz on fourth down.
Yeah.
We actually blitzed on that fourth down play where they scored that final touchdown.
Yeah.
And that's stupid.
And we had and my one problem is I'm really disappointed in the coaching. I mean, I'm not saying that these coaches are bad by no means, but I think, like, a lot of our problems is defensive coaching. A lot of players are out of position a lot, and if they're out of position, that's coaching. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's what it is. I mean, no one covered Randall Cobb, and I mean, Hartline got destroyed, and it didn't matter. He just had to throw it up. He could have thrown it anywhere, and Randall Cobb could have walked back and called it, and still
there was nobody
in.
within 10 yards of it. It was pathetic.
It's a really sad thing of defensive coverage. I mean, defensive coaching, you know, and this is one of the things that I kind of put together myself, and with a little bit of your help, you know, with Ellis Johnson being our defensive coordinator, he's up there in the box, and he's also the assistant head coach. So, and then Lorenzo Ward is really technically the defensive coordinator or whatever. But with Ellis Johnson in the box, he's such a great defensive mastermind. I mean, he's not really there at halftime to help with the adjustments, you know. It's all on Lorenzo Ward. But, you know, he's also our DB coach. So I think, like, the coaching on, like, the DBs is being kind of taken away because he's also our defensive coordinator. Right. And it's obvious that the DBs are our weakness, and they were, like, our strengths last couple of years.
And I think one thing that I'm not sure why, for whatever reason, we're doing it more this year than we did last year, but last year we played a lot of man, and this year we're playing a lot of zone, and I don't know why, because I think we have the talent to play man. I mean, you get 5 yards that you can pretty much almost knock the receiver down. I mean, as long as you do it within 5 yards, pretty much anything's fair game. But yet we're giving them a 7-yard cushion on almost every pass play. Culliver, I think, has the speed. Whitlock has the speed. I think Gilmore definitely has the speed to play man, and then of course you've got the Spurs back there that I think can definitely come over and help. I just don't understand why we're playing so much zone, because it didn't take an idiot to figure out that all Kentucky was doing was finding those little spots in the zone and just sitting there for a 7-yard gain almost every pass. And like you said, what were they watching? I mean, because they did that all game, and during halftime I guess they thought that they could stop it. I just don't get it.
That's the problem. We don't have that killer instinct, like you said in a recent video. I mean, if we would have had that killer instinct, I mean, them coaches would have been all over that. They would have been like, listen, the running game's not doing nothing to us. They're trying to throw the ball, and they would have came up with the perfect game plan to stop them 7-yard passes or whatever. But they didn't. They were content with the way that the game was going, and without Lattimore, which that was just devastating to us, because he is the it factor. He is that it factor of our offense. No one else is a threat on that offense like Lattimore is. And I mean, yeah, we have Alshon Jeffrey or whatever, but he's great and everything, but Lattimore is that key. I mean,
the run game sets up the pass game.
Exactly.
So if he's not on his game, obviously Alshon doesn't get the catches that he wants or needs.
Because, I mean, Lattimore is the only one that has that vision to run that offense. None of them other backs do. That's the problem. Lattimore, I mean, all of them are physically gifted. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're all physically gifted backs. But none of them have that football mentality, that will to win, that leadership that Lattimore has. Lattimore is probably going to be one of the best football players that I've lived to see on South Carolina's team. I mean, as a freshman, he came in with such a great work ethic, great leadership, talented as all get out.
Humility.
Yeah, he's so humble. I mean, in like the Georgia game, he broke 40-something tackles, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, that was a great game by the offensive line." Right. I mean, you broke 40 tackles, and you're giving credit to the offensive line. I mean,
offensive line. Yeah, if they're down there with the safeties, somebody's out of position.
Yeah, I mean, he's just an all-around player. I wish we had more leadership on defense, like you said after the game. I think that's another major problem. When someone's out of position on the defense, we don't have that leader to step up and, you know, tell someone, listen, you messed up.
See, last year, Eric Norwood would have been all up in somebody's face.
That's right.
Whether it be Stephon, he doesn't care who it is. I mean, he's going to get in your face about it. Yeah. I think you're right. We've got a lot of good players on defense.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think we have that one key leader that's willing to step up and have the guts to get in somebody's face and tell them that they were wrong. I mean, and that's something that you need, if you're going to have a good defense.
I just don't think that a lot of these problems that we have, it can be fixed, just like that. I mean, you're not going to develop a leadership for your defense overnight. Right. Coaches aren't going to just magically, change the way they coach overnight. Right. I mean, I kind of wish that they would just kind of be like, listen, Ellis, you can make the same amount of money. We just want you to worry about the defense. On defense. Lorenzo Ward, we just want you to focus on DBs because we need to get our DBs back into that prime condition they were last year. Exactly. And you know, offensively, everyone's like, you know, Spurrier with that Les Miles impersonation, whatever. I mean, whatever. I would have gone for the win too. I probably wouldn't have done it that way.
Well, the thing is, you have 11 seconds.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of time to throw it to the end zone.
I think it was poor execution on that play.
It was a bad throw,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure why they threw it to Lamar Scruggs. I mean, no offense to him. I mean, he's had 2 catches all year, and 1 came in that game.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bad throw.
Yeah.
That throw should have been toward the back of the end zone and much higher than that. You know, I don't disagree with him going for the win.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think you almost have to go for the win there because
they all played us in the second half. I mean,
right, and of course you play to lose, and that's what would have kicking a field goal would have been doing essentially, or you play to tie, and obviously you don't want to tie the game. So I don't think another big thing about the game is obviously Marcus Lattimore getting hurt. He says 2 days, Spurrier says 2 weeks, so the truth is probably somewhere in the middle of that. And I heard that if he doesn't play this weekend, which he probably isn't going to, Kenny Miles will get the start.
That's great.
And I have no problem with him not going back in the game. Toward the end of the game, he was putting his shoes on, but I have no problem with him not playing. And we shouldn't need him against Vanderbilt, but
hey, I mean,
hey, obviously we know how that worked out. But I think Kenny Miles will do good. I'm not sure why he didn't play more last week.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
No offense to Brian Maddox, but Kenny Miles has better speed, and if anybody's as close to Lattimore, it's probably Miles on the team. I'm not sure why he didn't get some carries, but I don't think that's why we lost. I just think Kentucky outplayed us in the second half. Lack of defensive adjustments, and on offense, you know, the offensive line continued to play great because Lattimore was having a wonderful game before he got hurt. And sometimes I just think Garcia just makes bonehead plays.
He's not perfect yet. I mean, I don't expect him to be perfect, but I mean, you know, on that pass play, I mean, that last pass play, I mean, you threw all the weight on the Garcia, and he's just kind of not, you know, he's not quite that clutch quarterback that everybody wants.
Right.
You know? But I mean, you know, he tried his best. He threw the ball. I mean, Lamar Suggs had a chance at it.
Oh, his hand was on it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't happen for us. You know, I kind of just like, you know, you call timeout, you pretty much say we're throwing to the end zone.
Right.
But you have Alshon Jeffrey on the 12.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I just would have said Torrey Gurley, Alshon. I don't know. I probably would have put them on the same side of the field and let them kind of both go into like the same corner. And just kind of throw a high ball up there and just hope one of them comes for it. And if not, then say, went out of bounds. You know, we'll pull our little Texas and we got 1 second.
Yeah.
And then, you know, kick our field goal.
Lanning is a good field goal kicker. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. You know, it's a loss. It's very upsetting. You know. But
the good thing is, obviously, it doesn't ruin our chances for the East. I mean, the only thing that really ruined was a national championship, which is kind of silly.
Yeah.
But we can still win the East if we win out. Got to beat Florida.
Yeah.
We obviously can't have another meltdown like that. But good news for Gamecock fans is we can still win the East. So we just got to hope in the meantime that defense steps up and we start making adjustments. And
I mean, it's looking still pretty good for us. I mean, I think that, you know, with Vanderbilt on the road, I think that's kind of You know, I think we can squeak that one out. And Florida's looking pretty pitiful at home, so I'm thinking Florida, maybe we can get lucky.
They suck.
Yeah, I mean, they have talent all over the place. I just don't agree with Urban Meyer's coaching philosophies of I'm going to get 5-star players. I don't care if they fit my system or not.
Right.
I don't agree with that, but whatever. That's cool. And, you know, I think we have a good shot against Arkansas at home. I mean, they look phenomenal on offense, but on defense, I just don't see.
Suspect.
I think they're very kind of weak. But we're kind of running out of time, so we're just going to go here. Y'all enjoy this video or whatever. Post us on a Kentucky site and call us Bill and Ted, whatever. I don't care. I mean, it's whatever, you know. Your life, you can do whatever you want to with it and make fun of whoever you want to, and that's just really cool. Whatever. I got a kick out of it. There you go. There's a thumbs up. All right, well, we got to go. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
Adios. That's Spanish for goodbye.
Yeah.